All right. So the way to use the paper, if I can get the pencil, okay. So identify your P wave, okay. I know this is kind of hard, but your Q wave starts right here. It's very tiny. And then from up here to here's your R wave. And then do you see this little lip? This is your S wave. And then this is your T wave, okay? Now that you identify it, and again, this is a normal sinus beat because it has a P wave for every QRS, okay? AFib, you cannot do the P to R, but you can do the QRS. Sometimes you can do the Q to T, but not really, okay? So identify your waves, and then we know that the PR interval is the beginning of your P, keep writing R, to start of Q, okay? So we take this paper and we line it up like this. If you had a line and you did, let me get a piece of paper, hold on. Okay. See how I hold this piece of paper up like this? So it's this line that helps you divide your waves and stuff. That's how you can tell that that bottom one right there is your S wave, okay? So that's kind of what we're doing with this piece of paper. Whoa, sorry. Trying to do with this piece of paper, okay? You can't see the S wave, so when we go to QRS, you're gonna have to move the paper down a little bit. So we know, like I just said, your P to R is the beginning of your P wave, and it goes to the beginning of your Q wave. There you go. Okay, what you can do is you can move this down to these lines right here, okay? And this lines up with that, and this lines up with that line, which is great. And you would go 1, 2, 3, 4. So the P to R, 0.4 times 4 is 0.16, okay? Now, the nice thing about using paper is you've already marked your Q, remember? Because the P to R goes from the beginning of your P wave to the beginning of your Q wave. So then we can see that if we move it down just a tad, this is the end of your S wave. So we go like that, okay? Same thing, move it down till you find some lines and start here, 1, 2. So your QRS is 0.08, okay? Now, same thing with QT. I would go ahead and write a Q here so that this line doesn't mess you up, or you can come to a blank part of the paper and restart. But I like to use this because it's already the beginning of your Q, right? And then we know that this is the end of our T wave. I know this dips down, it comes back up, but this is a U wave and it doesn't count. This is the end of your T wave, okay? So then we know Q, RS, all the way to the end of our T wave to right there. Again, we're gonna bring it down. And this is where we're going, okay? I'm gonna bring it down just a tad more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll put that at 9, okay? So the QT is that, okay? If you have more questions, just let me know.